there's a real like dialectic in the book, right? So there's on one end of the scale is shallow work and the other end of the scale is deep work. And the world is pushing us more and more and more towards shallow work because there's just so many distractions and so many ways that we can be disengaged from that deep work. Whereas we need to fight for getting down the other end of the scale to the deep work portion, to that end, which is the highly valuable end for not just the world, but also for us.
Yeah. So deep work. Well, what does it mean? Well, it means, I guess it's defined as this: professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. And to contrast that, shallow work. Well, shallow work's non-cognitively demanding, logistical style tasks, often performed while distracted. And these efforts tend not to create much new value in the world, and they are easy to replicate.
Lockie, how much deep work do you think you do?
A lot more now than I used to. But I would say
after reading
this
book.
is a constant. Yeah, well, it did have a big effect on me, actually, this book. And I should just say that this is a very, very useful concept and worth diving into. So I would say that my week is a constant battle between these two. And to do deep work is to do high leverage work, I think. Deep work is kind of non-linear work. You don't get to tick the to-do list and say, yep, done. Created that new theory, created that new X, Y, Z, It's kind of a explorative kind of work. And it's hard. It's hard to get yourself there, and you need to be in a state that is fairly relaxed to do it. If you're in a high anxiety state, you're probably going to be more looking to do more shallow work, which is all those things that make you feel good. You're ticking stuff off the to-do list, but they are relatively easy tasks that, really don't provide as much value as the deep work, but you get more short-term gratification from doing the shallow work. And secondly, if you work in an organization, in an office or something like that, shallow work looks like work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It looks like you're doing heaps of stuff, which can be quite good. It's a bit like you may say a hangover from back in the industrial era where the amount of widgets you pumped out was the value of your work. But in knowledge work, which is what a lot of people are involved in today, you can come up with one idea that's worth all the other ideas you've had combined, So
yeah, correct. There's a great question that he poses in the book, mate, which is because I felt it quite difficult to actually discern, like, what does deep work really mean? Is it just sitting down doing that, doing a Pomodoro for 25 to 50 minutes and, you've done nothing but kind of do your work? No, it actually means
What's a Pomodoro?
Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique?
No.
So it's well, clearly that's why you're asking the question. So I believe it comes from this, there was these timers that were like tomatoes or tomato timers, and they were, I think, something used for cooking or in the kitchen in some way or another.
I've seen those things. You twist them and they look like a tomato.
And so apparently there's a sweet spot in concentration levels, somewhere in that 25 to 50 minute hour space, before you've kind of cooked your mind, that you need to take a quick break and rejuvenate yourself to come back in. And so the idea is that you set your length of time that you're going to do this Pomodoro for, and you complete that 25 minutes completely distraction free. So it's you and the work and nothing else. But obviously the work can be anything. It just needs to be distraction free. So arguably you could do the Pomodoro technique going through your emails. Going through your emails is by no means deep work. And so I think the question really helps out here, mate, is how long would it take in months to train a smart recent college graduate with no specialized training in my field to complete this task?
So can you repeat that once more? Because this is an important point that can help people define deep work in their everyday.
Yeah. So how long would it take in months to train a smart recent college graduate with no specialized training in my field to complete this task? And pretty well, if your answer's not in the vicinity of 12 plus months or years, you're certainly not doing deep work.
And the implication there is you probably should be delegating it, I guess.
Well, delegating it, or you should be batching it up with all of your other similar sized tasks and, doing them at the same time.